Okay, let's just get right into it. Everything you think you know about brain drain, it's probably wrong. Like, completely wrong. We hear this tired narrative all the time, right? When smart people leave a developing country, that country is doomed. Game over. But what if losing your absolute best workers is actually a secret economic weapon? In today's Explainer, we are going to completely shatter that old way of thinking. Seriously, ask yourself, does working abroad actually ruin a poor country's economy? Does letting your brightest minds cross the border just destroy your national wealth? Politicians will scream yes. Your old college textbooks will tell you yes. But the data? The data says something completely different. Prepare for a serious reality check. The myth is that brain drain destroys economies. But the reality? We should actually be calling it brain gain because it radically boosts national education and wealth. And look, this isn't just some wild, optimistic guess. This is based on a massive, incredibly rigorous study of Romanian census and labor survey data from the early 2000s. Researchers tracked the money, they tracked the education, and they tracked the people. And they proved that mass migration actually makes the home country richer, and it makes the people who stay behind smarter. Section 1. The sorting hat. Let's follow the money across borders. Here's the thing you have to understand. Migration is a ruthless, hyper-rational economic calculation. Migrants aren't just blindly fleeing into the night, hoping for the best. No, they are making cold, hard, calculated decisions based on global wage premiums. They literally sit down and ask, where does my specific, unique skill set pay the absolute most? And then they pack their bags and go exactly there. And the sheer scale of the money involved here is staggering. Look at the financial incentives waiting for a Romanian worker. If they relocate to the US, they earn a massive premium of $990 extra a month compared to just staying home. What about Spain? A smaller premium, but still about $300 extra a month. Austria? It's mostly neutral. You see, these aren't just abstract numbers on a spreadsheet. These are massive, life-altering financial magnets. The global labor market is absolutely brutal, and it perfectly sorts human beings. The US has high wage inequality, sure, but it pays massively for high skills. So what happens? It vacuums up the highly educated. Romanians going to the US are 16% more skilled than the ones who stay behind. Meanwhile, Spain's labor market rewards basic labor, like construction, so it naturally attracts workers with a negative 11% skill selection compared to the average. People are perfectly sorting themselves to maximize their income. It's that simple. Section 2. The real calculation. Why the smartest actually leave. $1,140. Think about that for a second. That is the staggering extra monthly premium a highly educated Romanian earns simply by taking their talents to the US labor market. Keep in mind, in the early 2000s, that was an astronomical amount of wealth. You just cannot fight that kind of math with simple patriotism. It doesn't work. Just contrast the two options here. Option A, stay at home, hit a frustratingly low wage ceiling, and watch your hard-earned college degree go completely undervalued. Or Option B, go abroad and cash in on a massive, life-changing wage premium for your high skills. Leaving isn't some failure of the home country's culture. Honestly, it is the only logical, rational choice a smart worker can make. Section 3. The crushing advantage. And this is all about the power of returning home. Now, this data right here completely destroys the misconception that migration is a one-way street. Up to 60% of these workers actually return to their home country. 60%. They don't leave forever. They leave to gather resources, and then they bring the whole shebang right back home. And this introduces a critical concept you really need to know, the return premium. Researchers define this as gathering human capital abroad to cash in with a massive wage advantage back home. Listen, they aren't coming back because they failed out there in the world. They are coming back as economic conquerors. They learned new skills, they picked up a new language, they saved a ton of capital, and now they are leveraging every bit of it. And the data proves this perfectly. 14%. That's the exact data point showing returnees earn up to 14% more than the local workers who never left. To put that into perspective for you, in the local economy, earning 14% more is the exact equivalent of getting 2 entirely free years of university schooling. That is a massive, tangible leveling up of their personal wealth. Section 4. The unexpected winner, how the whole country levels up. So here is a step-by-step model of how this brain gain actually happens. Step 1, the country opens its borders. Step 2, the youth look abroad and suddenly see this massive wage potential just waiting for them.
Step 3, because of that massive potential reward, an entire generation studies harder. Everyone, and I mean everyone, tries to get into college.
And here is the ultimate face-slapping, counterintuitive reality of it all. Even those who stay behind get smarter. Just think about it. Thousands of kids are studying furiously to get a degree so they can move abroad. But not everyone wins the VIA lottery, right? Not everyone actually leaves. So what happens to the country? You are left with a massive population of highly educated youth who stay in the home country. The overall baseline skill level of the entire nation just skyrockets. Loosening migration limits doesn't empty the country. It incentivizes the youth to study harder. That is the definitive conclusion from this academic model. Simulating the data showed that doubling the migration rate actually increased the average years of schooling for the entire Romanian population. Brain drain is an illusion. Brain gain is the statistical reality.
Section 5, the academic flaws. Let's talk about what the data actually missed. Now, we need to be intellectually honest here for a second, because absolutely no academic paper is completely flawless. The researchers ruthlessly measured observable traits, things like census data on age and education. But you know what spreadsheets cannot measure? Pure hustle. They completely ignore unobservable ambition. If someone is driven enough to pack up their life and cross an ocean, they probably had hidden talents that would have made them richer anyway, right? Similar studies on Mexican migration actually found this unobservable selection is huge. Plus, keep in mind this data is pre-2004, way before the massive European Union expansion radically changed how those borders work. So it's a fantastic model, but it's not a perfect mirror of today. Even with those flaws, the core finding holds up, and it brings us to the ultimate irony. Letting your absolute best, most highly educated people pack their bags and leave might actually be the only guaranteed way to save your developing economy. It forces the next generation to level up and brings back serious wealth when they return. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. If the hard data clearly shows that locking the doors and trapping your smartest citizens inside actually makes a country poorer, who really benefits from closed borders? It's something that should absolutely make you rethink everything you assumed about immigration, labor, and national wealth. Thanks for diving into the data with me today.